Hello, my dear students, and welcome to today's lesson. Reading Part 2 for Grade 9, Module 2, Lesson A, Students Book, page 18. Let's get started. As you remember, in Reading Part 1, we recognized some words related to the reading text about top tips for better photos of people. Also, we identified the main idea of the reading text. In our lesson today, we have two learning objectives. So students will be able to, number one, respond to some WH questions after scanning the text about top tips for better photos of people. Number two, find out 5 synonyms after reading the text about top tips for better photos of people. Open your student's book, page 18. Here is the text of our lesson today, page 18. And on the right, you have exercise C. And this is a while reading activity. Now scan the text, then read it carefully and answer the questions. As you see here, we have 6 WH questions. We are going to read the text, to scan the text, then answer these questions. Now pause the video, read the questions, after that scan the text, then answer the following questions. This is the text of our lesson today. We are going to read the text, to scan the text, then answer the questions. And you can follow the speaker. Let's start.
Module 2. Face-to-face. 2A. 1. Read.
Have you ever wondered why other people's photos always seem more professional than yours? Well, here are some top tips for better photos of people. Do you want your photos to stand out? Then change your angle. Shoot people from high above, below, or from an unusual angle, or even from a different room. You always get interesting results. Also, don't always place your subject in the middle of the photo. Another common mistake is to stand too far from your subject. This can make the person look too small and not attract the attention of the viewer. So don't be shy to photograph from close-up. The results will be sure to impress. Did you ask your subject to say cheese before you took the photo? Well, people are expecting this. Have you ever tried to surprise them by saying something completely different like chimpanzee? They don't expect it, and you get a natural smile. It is also very important to make them feel comfortable and relaxed. Even family and friends can be a little shy in front of a camera, so it's a good idea to have a laugh and a joke with them before starting to shoot. Give people something to do. Photos are more natural when people are doing something. Otherwise, they're just posing in front of the lens, feeling embarrassed. Ideally, you want your subjects to be so busy concentrating on the activity they are involved in that they forget you are there. When this happens, your photo will look much more professional and interesting. Light is very important. Try not to use the flash because it makes a person's face look flat and ugly, like a passport photo. Natural light is the best, and the best part of the day is probably the early evening when the light is warm and soft. Lastly, don't be afraid to use photo editing software to edit your photos. There are some very useful programs out there, and they're pretty simple. Have you ever seen a photo of a person with red eyes? Well, you can easily fix that. Also, there are thousands of different artistic effects you could choose to improve your photos. For example, you could change the background of a portrait to look as if it was taken in a rainforest or in the snow.
I have taken lots of bad photos of people over the years, but yesterday I went on a rooftop and took some photos of my friends, and they turned out really cool. I'm improving. Thanks for the advice. I've uploaded them for you to see. Alan, Doncaster.
We come back again to exercise C. Now, after you scan the text and read it carefully, you are going to answer the following questions. Pause the video, then answer the following questions. Okay, my students, now let's check your answers. Let's start with the first question. Where does the writer advise you to place your subject in a photo? Can you answer this question? Very good, my students. The answer is, the writer advises you not to always place your subject in the middle of the photo. Okay, can you find a clue in the text to justify this answer? That's right, it's in the first paragraph. In which lines? Very good, my students. It's here, in line 4 and line 5. Question number 2. What does the writer advise you to say before taking a photo? Can you answer this question? Excellent, my students. The answer is, you should say something completely different that will surprise your subject. Or you should say something your subject does not expect, like chimpanzee. Can you find a clue to justify this answer? That's right. It's in paragraph 2. In which lines? Very good. It's here, in line 11, 12, and 13. Let's move to question number 3. When do people feel embarrassed in front of a camera? That's right. When they are just posing in front of the lens, doing nothing. Can you support your answer from the text? That's right. It's here in paragraph 3, in these two lines, line 20 and line 21. Question number 4. Why shouldn't you use the flash? The answer is, because it makes a person's face look flat and ugly. Can you find a clue to justify this answer? Very good. It's in paragraph 4. Which lines? Very good. It's here. Try not to use the flash because it makes a person's face look flat and ugly. Very good, my students. Question number 5. How can you fix red eyes in a photo? Well done, my students. You can fix them by using photo editing software programs. Can you support your answer? Excellent, my students. It's in paragraph 5, in these lines here. Use photo editing software to edit your photos. And it's here also, have you ever seen a photo of a person with red eyes? Well, you can easily fix that. Well done, my students. This is the last question, question number 6. Which tip did Alan follow? Excellent, my students. He took some photos of his friends from a different angle. Or he followed the first tip. Can you justify this answer? Very good. It's in the first paragraph. Which lines? That's right. It's here in the first 4 lines. Well done, my students, and great job. Now let's move to exercise D. Students book page 18. Here we are going to find words or phrases in the text that mean the same as the following. As you see here, we have 5 meanings or 5 definitions. We are going to find the words or the phrases that have the same meaning of these statements or phrases. Now, pause the video, read these statements or definitions or meanings, then go back to the text and find the words and the phrases. Okay, my students, now let's check your answers. The first one, to take a photograph. In tip number 1, what is the word or the phrase that means to take a photograph? Excellent, my students. Shoot. Number 2, to put something somewhere. Also in tip number 1. Very good, my students. The word place, and it is a verb here. Number 3, to sit or stand in a particular position. In tip 3. Very good, my students. Pose. Number 4, feeling nervous and uncomfortable or shy. In tip 3. That's right. Embarrassed. The last one, to become better. In comments. The word is improve. Well done, my students. Now let's move to exercise E in the student's book, page 18. And this is a critical thinking question. What can you infer about the person who wrote the tips? What does the word infer means here? It means to form an opinion or guess that something is true because of the information that you have. So, what can you infer about the person who wrote the tips? We have 3 options here. A, he has taken the photos next to the tips himself. B, he has a lot of experience in taking photos of people. C, he is a professional photographer working for a wildlife magazine. Now, pause the video, think, then answer. Now, let's check your answers. What is the correct answer here? Very good, my students. It's B. He has a lot of experience in taking photos of people. Well done, my students. Here, I want you to justify your answer. Why did you choose this answer? Think, then answer. Excellent, my students. Because he mentioned lots of details and explanations about how to take better photos of people. And we can see that in the text here in these parts. Okay, my students, this is the last task in our lesson today. Over to you. Discuss. Here we are going to discuss the following questions. Do you follow any of the advice mentioned in the text? Does it work? What other tips can you share? Now, pause the video, think, then answer. This is the end of our lesson today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.